I just don't believe that. I mean, why, what does he have to gain by doing that? By just saying, oh yeah, I'll vote. As I've said before, and he may end up voting with the Democrats on all this stuff, I don't know, but Schumer needs him more than he needs Schumer. So
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600, WKKX, Wheeling.
Right now at noon, the gloomy rain has returned to the Ohio Valley after starting the week with crystal clear skies. We have all you need to know right now. The April showers have definitely returned for the second to last day of the month. Thank you for joining us for 7 News at noon. I'm Stephen Ruffing. Let's take a quick look outside over the highlands. You see those raindrops falling on the camera and falling on the roads out there. Unfortunately, you might want to get used to the rain for the day. Zach joins us right away to tell us all about it. Good afternoon, Zach.
Well, good afternoon, Stephen. Unfortunately, looking a bit dreary and just kind of blah outside just because we haven't really seen a whole lot of widespread rainy days throughout the Ohio Valley, especially since April showers do bring May flowers. We haven't really talked a whole lot of rain activity. But looking across our 8-box traffic cams, condition-wise, we're still noticing abundant rain all throughout the Ohio Valley. And speaking of rain, let's take a peek at zoomed in. Look at Storm Tracker 7 Dual HD Doppler radar. Looks like just a light, moderate rain all throughout the northern panhandle and extending on into southeastern Ohio. Looks like areas up into Harrison, Carrollton, Jefferson County. Looks like you're in the clear, where areas down and south of I-70, you're starting to see a bit more rain activity, and expect those showers to continue on into the afternoon. Now, there is the chance that we see some warmer temperatures as the afternoon progresses, but right now we're in the mid-60s and expect us to be topping off in that upper 60s range. One thing we're also dealing with are the rather breezy conditions with a southwesterly wind right around 18 miles per hour, but the rest of the day we do have the chance of seeing some thunderstorms mainly around dinner time. We'll time out and give you the latest weather information coming up in my full forecast in a couple of minutes, but for now we'll send it back over to you, Stephen.
All right, Zach, thanks. This just in. A Wheeling woman is behind bars for allegedly hitting another woman in the head with a pipe. Marianne Rowan was arrested and charged with malicious assault. This all happened on the 600 block of Wheeling Island around 6 o'clock last night. Police investigated and interviewed multiple witnesses, which led to the arrest of Rowan. Officials also say the victim was checked out by Wheeling Fire Department but denied medical treatment. Rowan was transported to Northern Regional Jail. All new in Belmont County, 50-year-old Robert Wilson from Wheeling is not going forward with his preliminary hearing. Wilson is reportedly charged with the felony rape of a child under the age of 10. This alleged incident came to light when the FBI informed the Belmont County Sheriff's Department about it. Judge David Troughton ruled Wilson's case that will now go straight to the Belmont County Grand Jury. Wilson remains in jail with a bond of $500,000. We'll keep you updated on this case as it moves forward. New details out of West Virginia. Officials are still investigating after a man died this morning following an accident at the former Hobart Mine in Boone County. According to first responders, 73-year-old James Simpkins was operating a piece of machinery when a silo collapsed on top of him. Officials are working to determine a cause of the collapse. New details this noon. Governor Justice has signed a bill that bans transgender athletes from competing in female school sports. It states that a birth certificate will be required upon admission to public school to confirm a student's sex at birth. This makes Justice the 4th governor in the U.S. to allow such a bill to go into action. The American Civil Liberties Union's West Virginia chapter says it regrets that the governor signed the bill into law. Similar legislation appears to be making its way through the Ohio State House. Save the Women Sports Act would also limit trans women from competing in women's sports. State lawmakers say there have not been any issues of trans women taking opportunities from female athletes in Ohio, but some want to get ahead of the issues. However, advocates say the bill causes more problems than fixes them.
Transgender girls have been playing sports since people have been playing sports. Transgender girls have been playing sports on school teams here in Ohio for over a decade with zero issues.
We want every little girl to be able to compete on a level playing field, and when biological males compete in female-only sports, it robs female of athletic opportunities.
The bill also opens the door for people to take civil action against a school that knowingly allows a trans woman to compete in women's sports. Today marks 100 days since President Joe Biden was sworn into office. He spent his 99th day in office by delivering his first address to a joint session of Congress. Deborah Alfarone has more details from the White House.
President Biden is hitting the road to celebrate his first 100 days in office with a rally in Georgia. The president spelled out his accomplishments during his first address to a joint session of Congress. That included signing a $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief plan that included direct payments to Americans, delivering 215 million doses of the coronavirus vaccine, and more than 1.3 million new jobs.
More jobs than any president on record.
In addition to discussing his first 100 days, the president laid out what he'd like to see come out of Congress this year, including 2 more massive spending bills. The president called on Congress to pass the $2.7 trillion American Jobs Plan, focused on infrastructure, and the $1.8 trillion American Families Plan, expanding access to child care and education.
What we're talking about here are investments. Nothing brings more money.
Americans are already balking at the price tags.
The president gives a nice talk about unity, but then he doesn't, there's no unity. Unity for him is we Republicans just agree to spend and spend and spend.
A CBS News poll found 85% of those who watched liked last night's speech, although slightly more than half of the respondents identified as Democrats. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
President Biden also called on Congress to pass the George Floyd Police Reform Act before the 1-year anniversary of Floyd's death. Negotiations on the bill will get underway today. Also, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, who is leading the police reform negotiations for Republicans, says he plans to meet with the Floyd family today. Some good news back here at home. Dogs and cats will be safer in Belmont County this summer, thanks to some new humane agents. 3 officers were sworn in yesterday by Judge Albert Davies. They were among 31 other students in the state to take the first class since the COVID outbreak. New B. Carl agent Howard Goldman, who has 7 years of experience, will spend the next month training the other 2 officers.
It is an honor to do a job like this. B. Carl is contracted under Belmont County. We now have 3 sworn humane agents that are going to be representing B. Carl and the county and all the animals that need our help.
Agent Goldman emphasizes during the upcoming summer months to leave your pets at home when running errands. He says it's too hot for them to stay in your vehicle. The CFOV is recognizing several educators across the Ohio Valley today. These teachers received grants to support STEM projects in their classrooms. The grants were made possible through a partnership with Southwestern and CFOV. More than 1,000 students benefited from these awards this year. Since 2018, the program has funded projects in 59 classrooms. Ohio University Eastern is hosting a special recognition ceremony tonight for their spring 2021 graduates. University officials tell us this is separate from commencement, which will take place over the course of several days. Angela Wood has been tabbed for keynote speaker. Wood is the executive director of the Augusta Levy Learning Center in Wheeling. Coming up, Zach will talk about where the bright spot is in the forecast behind all those raindrops. You won't want to miss it after the break.
304-214-1600. Call the Watchdog with your thoughts. We'll be right back to Local Talk.
Hey man, what can I get you?
Yeah, can I have 2 Coors Lights?
You got it. Hey Mike! I need 2 Coors Lights!
Sure thing. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time. Here you go.
Thanks Mike, doing a great job. All right, 2 ice-cold Coors Lights.
That's the coldest beer I've ever had.
Hey, they don't call it the world's most refreshing beer for nothing.
Okay, be honest with me. Do you really have the Rocky Mountains in your beer cooler?
You don't believe it? Check it out.
Man, that's pretty amazing.
I know, right? I can't believe it myself sometimes. I mean, this cooler is only 3 feet wide.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
It's time we put a stop to a few things. Right now, the D.C. establishment has all the power. The For the People Act will stop that. Billionaires buying West Virginia's elections? The For the People Act will stop that. Politicians and their families getting rich while we pay for it? Yep. The For the People Act will stop that too. Senator Manchin, you've always had West Virginia's back. Don't stop now. Stop corruption in its tracks and support the For the People Act, paid for by Represent Us. It's time we put a stop to a few things. Americans voting on machines that aren't made in America? The For the People Act will stop that. States using hackable voting machines with no paper trail? The For the People Act will stop that. Elections with no way to do careful audits or recounts by hand? Yep, the For the People Act will stop that too. Senator Manchin, you've always had West Virginia's back. Don't stop now. Stop election interference and support the For the People Act, paid for by representatives.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies. Only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker Darnell Foster with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Rain showers and thunderstorms likely with a daytime high near 70 degrees. Chance of those showers sneaking through the evening and the overnight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with a low of about 50 degrees. If we see those showers through the overnight, they might linger through the earlier part of your Friday. Otherwise, clouds breaking for sunshine. Temperatures near 60 degrees. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, The Watchdog.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Variety Show, Thursday, April 29th. Yeah, it's draft day conversation. Well, the draft conversation's been going on for weeks, months, or whatever. This guy studies football, especially the college football players that we may see in the National Football League, 24/7, because he really doesn't have a life. Well, yes, he does. When his daughter plays soccer at Ohio U, he makes the trip there. Hey, Jim Wexel, how are you?
Hey, Bill DeFabio, I'm great.
Okay, glad you could join us. You ready for tonight?
I am as ready as I'll ever be. I just have to sit on my couch and watch.
Yeah.
And zap some things out. And I watch football for a living, Bill. I don't do hard stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I expect what, about 55,000 in Cleveland?
No, that's idiotic. Yeah. You can sit on your couch.
Yeah.
Just text us the answer.
Yeah.
And then we'll either be happy or sad. We don't need him. I don't like all that spectacle. It's just anyway, Bill.
It's the National Football League.
You didn't bring me on here to complain today, did you?
Oh, you never complain, Jim. Neither do I. No, I didn't. Hey.
Did you read my column today?
No, I didn't. What did I miss?
It was my odds about who I think the Steelers are going to take. My odds board.
Oh, okay. Well, before we do that,
I used some salty language. I was a little salty this morning, so I'm wondering if I could be salty on the air today.
Yeah, you can. You know, we got Lola's got the dump button, and she's got her finger on the little red button here, so you can say whatever you want. I don't care. Well, I do care because I'm responsible for what goes on the air.
Prediction is Travis Etienne. Why? Because I couldn't decide between him or Najee Harris, and Peter King picked Najee Harris, so I go with the other guy.
Okay.
But there's always the chance Peter King could be right for once.
Yeah, that's... yeah, okay.
So that's what I wrote today. You know, little nasty stuff.
Okay, all right, yeah. Hey, the great Mel Kiper, sometimes the great Mel Kiper's off, you know?
No, come on. I could have used him in there instead. But I'm predicting ETN. But the odds, since, I'm taking the odds and I'll take the bets and I'll get slammed if I don't have Harris as the favorite.
Okay.
Because he's a Pittsburgh name, as you said. Didn't you say, the Steelers didn't win, Joe Green said it. The Steelers didn't win blank until they drafted Harris.
Yep. And Franco just said the other day, I think he was on a national show, I heard clips of it, they ought to go after, I like the last name Harris, because, he got sick and tired of watching the Steelers on the foot line, 1 yard line, and not score a touchdown.
Right. And this guy should help that considerably. But the guy I want, there are two butt kickers on the offensive line that I want. And since one's injured, they could get him in the second round.
Yeah.
And you could go two offensive linemen before your precious running back.
Yeah.
But anyway, I picked ETN as my prediction. I picked Harris as my betting favorite. And what I would do, I would draft the injured center from Alabama, Landon Dickerson. He's been described as a grizzly bear in the middle of the line. How's that for rebuilding your line?
Well,
okay, a grizzly bear? All right, so he's had some medical problems, but that don't concern me because I'm not paying his contract, right? I'm a writer. Yeah. I can take who I want.
Yeah. Well, I like the former wrestler, Creed Humphrey. Don't you like him?
Yeah, he's good, but he's not as dynamic and powerful and big as this guy. This guy's a grizzly bear. Again, it's Creed Humphrey, a grizzly bear.
Well, what about the 6'8", 311-pounder from northern Iowa? Spencer Brown, you like him?
Yeah, well, he's a little later. I mean, this is northern Iowa. What are we talking about here? I'm talking about the center for Alabama. You want to get 1 yard. You want to draft a running back. How about we get a center?
Yeah, well, I'm worried about the guy's history with health problems, 2 ACLs,
okay, that's a big point. But, see, we don't have, it's really not our team, so we can pick whoever we want. That's who I want.
That's true, okay.
And, this guy, he came out to take the last snap. He had tore his ACL, a couple of weeks earlier. Yep. He went out and made the last snap in the national championship game. He will be on crutches at training camp, but dressed to play.
Okay.
That's the kind of guy. But anyway, if you could get him in the second round, there's another guy. And this is Alan Faneca year, right? The year of Alan Faneca.
Yep.
Right? You broke the news that he picked Hines Ward.
Yep.
Okay, that's one great thing. And you had me on the air at the time, and I was telling you all those great things Alan's doing, for epilepsy victims.
Yeah.
And he's just stepping up right now. It's the year of Alan Faneca. Why not draft another one? This guy, Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State.
I like him.
I swear is another Alan Faneca.
Yep, I agree.
Except he's playing right tackle. He's played some left tackle. If you want to play guard, Alan Faneca, when he had to play left tackle, remember that?
Yep.
He said it was easier than guard. And there's a lot to be said about that because guards have stronger, more powerful people to deal with. He said tackle, wow, those guys are stealing money out there. He said he didn't have to, he was more ready to practice on Monday playing tackle than he was playing guard. Monday or Tuesday, whatever. He was always more ready to go. His body was, he said, man, I'll play tackle all day. They make a lot of money too. So that's how I think this Tevin Jenkins is. And he is nasty. He is country strong, just like Allen was. And he's going to be draftable right in that area. And I don't know what position he can ultimately play, but man, they're thin at tackle. Mm-hmm. And there's word he could play center. But anyway, you take him in the first, then you take this injured grizzly bear in the second. Bill DeFabio could play a little running back behind those guys. Now, come on.
Yeah, it's all what's up front. Yep. Give me the football. I can get you a foot or a yard if I got the guys in front of me. And if they're grizzly bears, no problem.
Chris Dotson's a grizzly bear. DeCastro got. Hey, you have DeCastro for how much longer?
Yeah.
I mean, get some guys in here and let DeCastro teach them how to be pros before he's done. And then you got Banner. Banner's a crazy right tackle.
Yeah.
You're going to have some run blockers up there, man.
That's a lot of beef on the line, man.
Yeah, right now you've got B.J. Finney to fill in at center until the injured Bears are ready. And, Jenkins can, if Chooks can't handle left tackle, I think Jenkins can. So anyway, so you get those two. I got the odds on Dickerson at 12-1. Even though he's injured, that's a long shot. I didn't make him too big of a long shot because, I don't know, the Steelers they just might surprise you. You never know.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Jenkins I have at 8-1. So Najee Harris is the favorite at 3-1. Travis Etienne's 4-1. The other running back from North Carolina 6-1. Tevin Jenkins 8-1. I got Darisaw, the left tackle from Virginia Tech. People say he might fall. And since the Steelers are really weak at left tackle, I got Darisaw at 10-1. And then the Grizzly Bear from Alabama, the center, at 12-1. Then I have some long shots in there, like Justin Fields. I have 25-1. Oh, and do you want to talk about that Cleveland potential?
Oh, yeah, because we carry the Cleveland Browns, so it's only right, and it's my job to make sure we cover them. So who do you like, number one, or whatever? What do they need?
I don't study all the teams' needs, but I read a story, a really, really well done piece in the Akron Beacon Journal about Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech. Now, this is another premier. This is like Rod Woodson falling to 10. If Farley would fall to 26. The Browns are drafting 26 behind the Steelers, so that's why it was written, because this guy's falling. He's 6'2", 197. He sat out last year with he took the buyout, whatever they call that. His mother died of COVID, and he didn't want his dad to get it, and he didn't want to be the one to give it to him. So he sat out the college football season, which is kind of frowned upon, but he's already proven to be a great, great corner, a top 10 guy, But he also had some back surgery on an old weightlifting injury, so that knocked him out of his pro day this year. And so since he didn't play last year, and he's injured now, and he didn't run a pro day, he's falling. And the Browns are, wondering if he'll fall to 26, which made me wonder, is he going to fall to 24? Because the Steelers, they could use a corner.
Yeah.
They could. A guy like Rod Woodson falls to them at 24. He's the only defensive player I put on my tote board. I don't buy this Zayvon Collins stuff. But if a corner like Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech falls to 24, but that's why I bring him up, because the Browns are picking 26, and they would jump all over that guy. I think I would, because the back surgeon said he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But it was his second back surgery after this weightlifting incident in 2019, 2 years ago. So, so there's that question mark. But I think that's a guy the Browns would really consider if he fell down there. That's not something that would make the Steelers happy.
No, that should be very interesting. You don't see the Steelers trading up or down, do you?
Oh, if they could trade down, I don't see them trading up. Okay. No. No, there's talk about going up for one of these running backs. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, it is.
Mike Florio apparently is writing a story. Are you there, Billy? Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I got my ears are working. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay. Well, apparently Mike Florio is writing that the Steelers are looking at Zayvon Collins. He's like a 6'4" inside linebacker. And Najee Harris are the two guys they're looking at. Now, I ain't buying nothing Mike Florio sources. I'm thinking those are two guys the Steelers want to feed to Mike Florio as smoke.
Yeah. Yep.
If this was Jerry Dulac reporting this, I'd say, okay, there's a source there that likes this defensive player. Anybody can say Najee Harris.
Yes.
But you start throwing an inside linebacker around after you just re-signed Vince and Spillane showed you a little bit, and Devin's coming back. You're like, you're 9 years in a row a defensive player? Really? This guy? I can see the corner. But an inside linebacker? I don't know.
It just seemed like
they traded up for Devin Bush. You've already spent some capital there.
Yeah.
Live with what you got for a while. Yeah. This is a deep draft for inside linebackers. Take a guy in the fourth round. Anyway, I think that report, I think if people are paying attention to that report, they're crazy.
All right.
Okay.
I don't want to leave Lola.
In trouble yet, Billy.
I don't want to leave Lola out of the conversation, but I'm going to bring up the Detroit Lions. What do they need? About 7 or 8 good players?
I always say this. Lola knows more about what the Lions need than I do. So you better ask her. I really can't answer that. I don't even know where they're drafted. I don't do that mock draft stuff.
Yeah.
I do 7-round Steeler mocks. I don't do what the Atlanta Falcons need because I really don't know enough about them. I'm just finding out what the Steelers are going to do. So.
Well, Lola got sick and tired every year after year. What, they drafted wide receivers, Lola? When they needed
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
Well, in my book, Polamalu, right, the new book, it's on sale at jimrexler.com and Amazon. Well, Ray Horton was working for the Lions when Troy came out.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And Ray was a defensive backs coach. He loved Polamalu. And the Lions were drafting second or third. So Polamalu was a 5'10" safety, and everybody said, small guy, he's not going to go. He's not worthy of a top 2 pick. And Ray Horton's saying, I beg to differ. Respectfully, I said, Ray, what didn't they like about Troy Polamalu? He said, the easier question to answer is, what did they like about Troy? Nothing. And I said, who'd they pick? He said, they took that wide receiver Rodgers. And I told them, Troy will have more catches than Rodgers. And he didn't. He had like 33 career picks, and Rodgers had 35 career catches. So it was just too short of picks. Wow. And so Roy was Horton was right. Ray Horton.
Ray Horton, yeah.
And so he was funny. He said, and when the Steelers traded up to draft Polamalu, and then they announced it was Polamalu, everybody in the Detroit room turned around and stared at Ray like they were stunned, he said. They really didn't think Polamalu was good at all.
Wow.
And that's your Lions. That's your Lions draft story on draft day.
Is that in your book?
Yeah,
okay.
There's a ton of stuff in that book.
Yeah.
Did you miss that? You read the book, Billy.
Yeah, but I can't remember everything. I just know it had great pictures and great stories, man. I forgot about Ray Horton. Troy could have been a Lion. He would have probably never gone to a Super Bowl.
Well, I don't know about could. It's still that's third pick, but that was the guy Ray was telling them about. And defensive backs coach is only going to talk about defensive backs. So
the Steelers at 24, 26, and 30. I think I had the numbers here. The 27th pick overall. What was it? Was it Polamalu? Yeah. And then Jerome Bettis on draft day. Where did he go?
No.
They swapped the pick.
The Steelers were picking 27th the year they drafted Polamalu, but they traded up for Polamalu.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I didn't know he never started a game as a rookie. I thought he moved right in there. Okay.
He was really bad as a rookie.
Yeah.
Really bad. And then his uncle told him to let his hair down.
Yeah.
And he let it under the helmet at the end of the year, and that's when he started playing better.
Will you agree that one of the top 3 mistakes the Steelers made was passing on a hometown favorite named Dan Marino as a heir apparent to Terry Bradshaw?
The number 1 mistake.
Yeah.
And the number 2 debacle on draft day. Can I tell this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, they didn't pass on a hometown boy. They drafted the hometown boy. They drafted Paul Martha instead of Paul Warfield.
Oh,
same position.
I didn't know that.
And then before the second round pick, they wanted another hometown boy, Clarendon kid, a tight end. I think his name is Kelly. It's a common name. It might be like Jim Kelly. It might. I don't know, but he was from Clarendon. He was Jim Seymour. That was it.
Jim Seymour, Notre Dame, right?
Right, Notre Dame.
Okay.
They wanted him in the second round, so they traded next year's first-round pick to get this Seymour kid. Next year's first-round pick became Dick Butkus.
Oh!
So in your eternal search for hometown kids, you pass on Paul Warfield and Dick Butkus.
Oh.
And then you trade Buddy Dial for George Appleby, and Appleby never signed with you, or Appleton, whatever his name was.
Scott Appleton.
He was an AFL draft pick, and he signed with the AFL. So they passed on...
This is funny. I love it.
On Paul Warfield.
For Paul Martha, because he was a hometown guy from Pitt, right?
two hometown guys.
Oh.
So, you know, that's a good story.
Who was in charge of that draft? Oh, boy.
Well, that was, that was Buddy Parker was in charge of all that.
Oh, Buddy.
Yeah, Buddy traded the entire 60s of draft picks, and then Dan Rooney got power and said no more trading, because apparently he wanted to trade for some broken down Philadelphia Eagles backup quarterback, King Hill or something. He wanted to trade, they had some young defensive linemen they liked. Ben McGee, I think, was one. And he tried to trade them and draft picks for King Hill. Oh. Dan Rooney said,
I remember King Hill.
That'll be enough of this.
Yeah, okay. See you later, buddy. Enjoy retirement. Hey, I'm out of time. Can we talk again Monday to go over all the drafts?
Sure.
Okay. Hey, thanks for some good stories and an update. And I hope you make some money.
Have a good draft night. Thanks, buddy.
You too. Paul Warfield instead of Paul Martha. Oh. Dick Butkus. Can you imagine Steeler fans, those two players wearing black and gold? Paul Warfield went on to have a great year with the Cleveland Browns. And, of course, Mike Ditka was a Hall of Famer with the Chicago Bears. I got to tell Biff that story. Yeah. Oh, we got to take a break. And we'll be back, all right? And the hits just keep on coming. Bob Grove, we're going to go from football to hockey. What a big series coming up between the Penguins and the Capitals, a two-game series, both in the nation's capital. The Penguins are just 1 point behind the Caps in the East Division standings. Two big question marks. Will the two Russians play tonight? Geno Malkin hasn't played since March 16th, and Alexander the Great Ovechkin hasn't played for a couple of weeks. We'll be right back with more on hockey and Bob Grove on The Variety Show.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Chris Lawrence. The world reacting to President Biden's first address to a joint session of Congress marking 100 days in office. Biden says a lot has changed since he took office in January.
Thanks to the extraordinary leadership of Speaker Pelosi, Majority Leader Schumer, and the overwhelming support of the American people, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, we did act. Together we passed the American Rescue Plan, one of the most consequential rescue packages in American history.
And during that address, Biden pitched his $2.3 trillion infrastructure plan. U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito has led legislative framework on a $568 billion alternative. She said after Biden's address, she hopes he follows through on his desire to cooperate with the Republicans. More reaction from state leaders at WVMetroNews.com. Marshall University President Jerome Gilbert planning to leave.
Gilbert announced Wednesday he will not seek a contract extension when his current term ends in July 2022. Gilbert citing personal and professional reasons for doing such. He arrived at Marshall in January 2016 from Mississippi State University. He was the first permanent president following the death of Dr. Stephen Kopp. Gilbert is expected to make comments during today's Board of Governors meeting regarding his future. Board President Patrick Farrell saying Gilbert leaves big shoes to fill.
That is Alex Thomas. One man is dead following a silo collapse at an inactive mine site in Boone County. He's 73-year-old James Simpkins, buried under the debris of the silo at the former Hobet mine. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. The DHHR confirming 11 additional COVID-related deaths in the Mountain State on Wednesday, including 3 from Raleigh County. Statewide, the death toll now 2,673. 453 new cases were added in the daily report, and more than 704,000 West Virginians have gotten at least one dose of the vaccine. Gilmer County High School in Glenville going to be closed today and tomorrow due to a spike there. The move comes per recommendation of the county health department after an infection rate jumped from 3.65 to 8.22%. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Long.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
CA House Music has all the gear to make your music legendary. With all the best gear, including Fender, Epiphone, Yamaha, and more, CA House will have you rocking in no time. Get the most for your money with everyday low prices. And we meet or beat internet pricing. Play before you buy and let our product specialists help you pick out the instrument that's right for you. CA House Music, supporting local musicians since 1872. Play music for life.
Come to the Nailers Marvel Superhero Night, Saturday, May 1st. Meet Spider-Man. Join the Marvel Superhero Costume Contest. Plus, participate in an in-game specialty Spider-Man jersey auction. Buy your tickets now for Marvel Superhero Night, Saturday, May 1st. The Wheeling Nailers are back at it against the Fort Wayne Comets, Puck Drop 710. Call 304-234-GOLD or visit WheelingNailers.com. This is Nail City.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Protecting you isn't just our job, it's our passion. If 2020 has proven anything, it's that anything can happen. You need to have the right partner to guide you through insurance pitfalls to make sure your business is adequately covered. From your property and equipment to your employees and your family, Glessner Wharton Andrews Insurance has the drive and the ability to keep you protected.
Let your voice be heard. This is Big Rick, your host of Real Big Talk, weekdays from 2 to 5 on the Watchdog. Just because my name is on the show, that doesn't mean that this show doesn't belong to you too. Lola and I can drive the bus, but you can jump on and join in. Breaking stories, local, statewide, national, and around the world discussed right here on the Watchdog. 304-214-1600. Real Big Talk with me, Big Rick, weekdays from 2 to 5 on the Watchdog.
A little bit of best of Stevie Wonder. Before the show is over, I'm sure he'll do the song Sir Duke for us, because it's Sir Duke Day. What am I talking about? Well, I know what I'm talking about because I'm reading this. He was born on this day in 1899, a very successful musician, and at first he was an artist, and then he found his way in life with the band. So the Duke Ellington Band and Duke Ellington. By the way, I like this quote. The Duke died, I shouldn't say Duke because people call John Wayne the Duke, but Mr. Ellington, who died in 1974, had this great quote. There are only two kinds of music, good and bad. Okay? We can say that about some sports teams. Good teams like the Capitals, the Bruins, Tampa Bay. Okay? The bad, I shouldn't say Buffalo anymore. Maybe it's New Jersey. Speaking of hockey, the expert is here. The historian is here. He knows a lot about hockey. Present, past, future. Am I saying the right things, Bob?
Well, Bill, it's great to be on with you. And, thanks for the kind words. But I follow the team a little bit. But there's lots of people out there who know lots of stuff about the Penguins. That's for sure.
Yeah, I like it when you text little things and I see it on the TV screen. I goes, "That's my man. He's contributing."
Yeah.
You know what? That's pretty cool. I tell you what, I got to be honest. You know I'm a Bruins fan, okay? But I really enjoyed the two games with the Penguins. Those two games that they just played and they split the two games, which was okay. I mean, that to me was like playoff hockey. You agree?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it absolutely was. It was very tight checking, and you had in these last two games, you only had a total of 5 goals scored by both teams in the two games, and the Bruins played really well in the second game, and the Penguins were a little bit better than them in the first game, and that would be quite an entertaining playoff series if it happens.
Can the Caps 2-game series with the Penguins be just as good, if not better?
Yeah, it can be. Probably, well, let's say it this way. First place in the East Division might be on the line. I mean, there's only 1 point separating these two teams.
Yeah.
So if they split these two games in Washington tonight and Saturday night, you're still in the same place. You're 1 point. You still got some games left, so it'll be determined later. But if one team can win both of these games, then the race is probably over. That's the way I'm looking at it. So it could be, but Alex Ovechkin will not play tonight, so that's a blow for the Caps and John Carlson, who took a shot off his foot in the last game as a game time decision. It looks like Malkin might be back, and Freddie Gauthier will be back for the Penguins, it looks like. So interesting tonight for sure.
Well, the Caps 4-0-1 without Alexander the Great in the lineup. So, well, they got so much talent, though. They got so much talent. You think Tom Wilson will behave?
No, well, he'll play his usual game, I'm sure. I mean, I don't expect anything different out of him tonight.
Okay, it should be very interesting. Yeah, you're right. If the Penguins can win two, that's 4 points. I'm not saying the race is over because you never know. And the schedule looks like it's in favor of the Penguins, right? Don't they have Buffalo a couple of times, the Flyers a couple of times?
Well, that's it. Those are the only 4 games that are left. So, yeah. So, I mean, the schedule's pretty good for the Penguins going forward. But, no. Buffalo's already beaten them. Obviously, the Flyers have beaten them a couple times. So, even though the Flyers are out of it, they would like nothing better than to keep the Penguins down in the standings. I mean, the Penguins are going to make it, but, hurt their chances of winning the division. So, there's no easy games. I know it's a cliche, but we've seen it this year. And, but, yeah, I mean, if the Penguins were to sweep this and have a 3-point lead on the Caps, even though, the New York Islanders are not far away, but they're far enough away with only a handful of games left that it wouldn't be an issue. So, there's a lot on the line here this weekend.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Does it really matter if you're in first place or second place or whatever?
No. No, it doesn't. In fact, look, the Penguins have won 8 division titles in their history. And the only time they won the Stanley Cup was after they won their very first division title. That was back in 1991. The other 4 Stanley Cups they've won, they finished 4th, 3rd, and 2nd twice. So no, it doesn't matter. It's you obviously you'd like to finish first because then you get home ice guaranteed for the first 2 rounds if you continue to advance. But no, it's not necessary. The Penguins have proved that.
Yeah, and whoever wins this division, the first 2 rounds, they're going to be physically beat up going into round number 3.
Yeah, I think that's going to be true, but I think that's going to be true in some other divisions. I mean, look at the Central. You got Carolina, Florida, Tampa, and Nashville, which had an awful first half and has been one of the best teams in the league for the past month and a half. That's not going to be an easy division to come out of either. I mean, and then you got last night we saw Vegas and Colorado play. Vegas has won 10 in a row, and those 2 teams, they have to face each other by no later than the second round of the playoffs. So I think when you get to the Final Four, in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, each team that comes out of a division, every team's going to be hurting a little bit from what they had to go through just to get that far.
Yeah. I got to ask you this. If I don't ask you this, I'm going to, after the show, say, why didn't I ask Grover about this? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to get the story so I can get it right, okay? I don't know who printed this. CBS, okay. KDKA, all right? The Penguins are looking to create vaccinated sections for the fans at PPG Paints Arena. So they want to have a section of fans that have been vaccinated for COVID-19 and another section for people not vaccinated. You think that's right?
Well, I really don't know much about this. I mean, I saw the reports, Bill, to be honest with you, trying to increase the capacity at the arena.
Yes, that's what the Penguins are saying.
They'd be allowed to get more fans in if you have people who can verify that they've been vaccinated. So there's a lot around that. I don't think they're the first team to ask this question. But I think every team wants to get more fans in the building because it's a better experience for fans. It allows more of them. Obviously, it allows more of them to take personal part in the games, and then it also helps. Look, it helps the players of every team to have more fans in the building. So, I don't know how the state's going to wind up feeling about it, but safety's got to be the first concern.
Yeah, at first I said, there we go, separation. But then more and more I think about it, I think it's a great idea. It will invite more people to come out because they'll feel, what's the word am I looking for? They'll feel safer. Is that good? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. But I think the state's also going to say it's not just, you have to have the full vaccination, but also for the people who are getting 2 doses of the vaccine, you got to wait 2 weeks after your second one. So, it won't be simple to figure it all out, but, and it's more complicated for the NHL than it is for, say, Major League Baseball or the Steelers. right? Because you've got fans outside, and we all know that transmission of the virus in those outside environments is less likely than it is indoors, even in a big indoor facility.
We know the NHL is suffering financially, well, at least a number of teams. Didn't they just sign a huge contract with one of the networks?
Yeah, I mean, every team is suffering financially. Yeah, Turner is in for Turner Broadcasting, so ESPN and Turner. I mean, the NHL had said all along there'd be two broadcast partners, and ESPN was announced about 3-4 weeks ago, and now Turner is going to have hockey for the first time. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be beginning next year.
What about the announcers at NBC? Should they be worried?
Well, I mean, the NBC won't be carrying any hockey.
Because I like those guys, Jonesy, and I just like them.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. When those guys, they've risen to the top of their profession. They're there for a reason. And generally, I mean, Turner's got to go out and hire people to do this. And where's the likely place for them to turn? But the guys like the ones that are on NBC right now.
Maybe they'll see an old friend of mine, Mike Milbury, back, right? I always liked him. Were you a Milbury fan?
No, not really.
You probably didn't like him as a player or coach, right?
Well, I didn't mind him as a player. I mean, he was a hothead. But there's a lot of hotheads over the years. But no, I wasn't particularly a big fan of his commentary. But maybe, who knows?
Yeah, well, it's all about the audience and what they think. So, yeah, as long as, people are working. As much I wouldn't mind the Bruins playing Vegas in the finals, but I'm all about work. And if the Penguins are in the Stanley Cup Finals, that's more jobs for ushers and so on, merchandising, concession stands. So I'd like to see the Penguins and Vegas, because, I still love Marc-Andre Fleury. Who would you like to see in the finals? Not named Pittsburgh.
Well, if you eliminate Pittsburgh, I think it would be great to see Fleury back have a shot for a fourth Stanley Cup. I would absolutely love to see that. I think Colorado's got a great shot. I enjoy watching their team. They're a high-scoring team.
Yeah.
I think Carolina still is underappreciated for how good they are. We've talked before about Tampa, very talented. We'll see how Kucherov plays when he gets back. He hasn't played all season, but is going to be ready to play in the playoffs. So there's a lot of entertaining teams to watch, but I'm probably with you. I think Vegas would be a great story to watch if they get to the final.
What if the Penguins played Florida in the conference championship? Isn't that the Florida home of Patrick Hornquist?
It is.
Yeah.
And he's had a great season for them. I think Bill Quenneville's coaching job there has been really, really good because Florida has a team that, they're sitting 2 points out of first place in that division. And they're a team that has really, the last few years, everybody said, circled Florida and said, this is a team to watch. They've got a lot of pieces, and it just never, ever worked out until this season. And, they made some off-season moves, and they've just had a spectacular season. And Hornquist has been good. So Hornquist against the Penguins would be fun for sure.
So it's official, Alex will not be playing tonight?
Yeah, that's what Laviolette said this morning. So, I mean, there's no reason for the Capitals to rush him back from whatever his injury is. You've got to make sure he's ready for the playoffs because we just discussed, first place is nice, but it's not a prerequisite.
Have you seen the video with Ovechkin with the dumbbells and his little one working out with him?
No, I haven't.
It's a funny thing. It's a great thing. The little one's there with his little set of dumbbells, and Alex is there with the regular dumbbells, and they're working out together. A nice father and son video, you know what I mean?
Yep. No, I'll have to go looking for that.
Yeah, I got a soft heart for stuff like that. Plus, I like Alexander Ovechkin, and, it's all cool. And this is the best time. Tonight, I'm going to have a draft, maybe a couple of drafts, watching the draft, and switching over to the hockey and back and forth. So it's a good night for me just to relax. I don't care if it's raining outside, snowing. I'm going to have a good time tonight with the draft, okay?
Sounds good, bro.
And hockey. We'll talk soon, Bob.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Bill.
Boy, he came up with all the kinds of stuff I didn't know about the 8 division titles, and only one of the 8 where they won a Stanley Cup. Wow. That's why we use them and abuse them, okay? Right now, we got to take a break, and just a reminder, after the show, we have the Real Big Talk with Big Rick. I don't think he's on the draft board. You talk about a lot of beef. Big Rick, Lola Miller producing the Watchdog 98.1 AM, and that's, 98.1 and an AM 1600 WKKX. By the way, you can listen live on the watchdognetwork.com, tune in the app, or our Facebook, The Watchdog, Twitter at The Watchdog, West Virginia. Okay? If you're an oldie but goodie like me, you can always call at 304-214-1600, and you can text, all right? You can always reach us, whether it's Howard Monroe in the morning, yours truly, and from 12 to 2 with Lola, or Lola and Big Rick. You can always get a hold of us, whether it's a computer, a cell phone, whatever. We're there for you, so don't worry about abusing us, because we like to be abused. Lola, let's take a break. We are the Variety Show.
Let your voice be heard. This is Big Rick, your host of Real Big Talk, weekdays from 2 to 5 on the Watchdog. Just because my name is on the show, that doesn't mean that this show doesn't belong to you too. Lola and I can drive the bus, but you can jump on and join in. Breaking stories, local, statewide, national, and around the world discussed right here on the Watchdog. 304-214-1600. Real Big Talk with me, Big Rick. Weekdays from 2 to 5 on the Watchdog.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Are you struggling to make payments due to an unexpected financial obligation or loss of income? Are you receiving calls from debt collectors? Are you feeling overwhelmed and unsure of what steps to take next? Then you need the experience and expertise of attorney Tom McIntyre and his staff to help guide you through these temporary hardships. Want to hear more about how Tom can help? Then call 877-456-4155 and receive a free copy of Tom's ebook, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. Tom's ebook covers many questions people have about bankruptcy and includes interesting stories about people who tried to avoid filing and people who have filed for bankruptcy. We think you'll be surprised to learn some interesting facts about bankruptcy. Call 877-456-4155.
Hello?
Darling, where are you?
Why, honey, I'm at my favorite store, Rule King. I'm getting my mom some flowers for Mother's Day.
Oh, good. Pick up my mama something special while you're there as well.
Friends, don't forget Mother's Days are coming up real soon, so get your mom something special from Rule King. Nobody beats their prices.
Get all the moms in your life something special, you hear?
Yes, dear.
Thank you.
This is Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
As high school seniors prepare to graduate and make plans for their future, we need more young people to consider a future in teaching. Ohio needs more people from all backgrounds, all races, all genders to become caring, committed educators to serve our growing student needs. And I can tell you from experience, there is no more rewarding career.
Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there is one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. Being in business for over 50 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at DoanFord.com.
I'm not buying till I check Doan Ford. Follow us on Facebook for the latest news, show updates, podcasts, alerts, and live video streams from the Valley's only network dedicated to local, community-driven talk radio, The Watchdog.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Upon the moment long ago, one breath away and there you will be, so young and carefree. Again you will see that place in time, so go. Still away that way back when.
Really looking forward to my next guest coming up about 1:05, 1:10 right after the news. Jim Leland's favorite player not named Bonilla and Bonds, John Wayner, who could play every position. I think he did that once, or close to it. He was in line for the Pirates' managerial job, or at least he applied. I thought he would be a pretty good manager. But I like the current guy. You know, he's got the players believing, you know. Okay, yeah, they lost the other day to Kansas City, but they're 12-12. I never expected them to even go back to 500 when they start off at 1-6. There's a long, long way to go. I don't get too excited. Was it just a few years ago when they were one game under 500 at the All-Star break? Just a couple of games out of first place, and they went awful. It's a long season. You know, I know the Red Sox, because I keep track of them, they're playing very well. But you know what? They still got a long way to go, and the New York Yankees really scare me because what have they hit? What, like 9 home runs in the last 3 games? They got so much power, and you knew that they were going to come back and start winning. All right, that's just the way it is in baseball. I'm surprised the Royals have the best record in baseball. Okay, I can't wait to talk to John Wayner, one of the voices in the press box for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the owner of a World Series ring. Okay, hey Lola, did you see the story the other day? Where is it? Here we go. This is minor league stuff. The major leagues are watching it. The Pioneer League, which I'm familiar with because some of the players we get from the Pioneer League will be playing at the Wild Things, okay? But the Pioneer League teams will participate in home run derbies to settle games tied after 9 innings. Whoever hits the most home runs in the home run derby will win. I don't like this, do you?
No, and no. First of all, you've heard managers and coaches say home run derbies wreck guys' swing.
Yep.
So now you're going to put a bunch of it's different. I think they're thinking that it's like a shootout in hockey.
Yes, only
But
for shootout in baseball.
it's not.
You're allowed 5 pitches or whatever. Yeah, I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all.
No, I don't. Baseball should be. It's not like baseball is the most difficult sport to score in. You know, hockey, yes, that could go. We've seen it go 3 or 4 overtimes. You know, during the playoffs. So I get it why they would want to, you know, shorten the length of a game by having a shootout. But baseball, come on, it's just, again, you know, what they want is more excitement. They want more scoring. Well, you know what, do it in 9 innings. You don't have to have a home run derby to settle a game.
Do you like the fact that after 9, if it's tied, you start a player at second base? You like
I think
that?
it's ridiculous, too.
Wow.
I don't.
We agree on that, too. Okay. I really do. Don't change.
I'm
It's the game's not broken, is it? The game's not broken.
Well, it is now.
Oh, yeah, they're going to make it worse.
It's
Yeah.
like my dad always said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Okay, but, I mean, it's only an experiment with the Pioneer League, but, you know, Major League Baseball's watching very closely. Hey, maybe we should do that. No, just keep doing what you got to do. Okay. And I'm sure, I don't think, you think the players would want this, Lola, if they took a vote?
Oh, probably. Oh, I can hear home runs. I'll win every game for us.
Yeah, and if I'm Tatis, I hurt my shoulder. Yeah, that's okay. That's already happened. Okay, whatever. That's, as Bob Grove said, Ovechkin will not be playing tonight. Maybe the other Russian will play. Malkin, he was with the team, and he practiced yesterday. Okay? He wore the white jersey, which means you can't touch him. But I don't know if I want to see him in the lineup, you know, because they've been playing so well without him. Hey, the Caps, without Ovechkin, are 4-0-1, okay? But, you know, both teams have a lot of talent. I believe in the chemistry part, but whatever. I can't wait to watch the draft and switch it over to the Penguin game and back and forth. What are the Pirates doing? Oh, nothing. They're off today. They will play the St. Louis Cardinals tomorrow, okay? John Wayner coming up in a couple of seconds, okay? Shame on me for failing to mention the Nailers. I was on the phone a lot last night with DJ Abasella and Denny Magruder, because I wanted to get the story right for the morning sports. Last night's Naylor game postponed due to health and COVID-19 protocols. Okay, it was like 7:22 when the crowd was told, sorry, no game. I guess there was an individual or whatever with the COVID-19 protocols or whatever, and no game. And I guess there's no game on Sunday. I'm wondering if they're going to play on Saturday, which is superhero night, you know? I don't know. It's never a dull moment with the Nailers and the ECHL. I was telling somebody today, I forgot who I was talking to, somebody in the ticket office over at the Nailers, why don't you just cancel the season? You're not going to get into the playoffs. Well, you can't do that because, you know, there's concession sales, ticket sales, merchandise sales, and, you know, there's some money there left. But I tell you what, it's not been a pleasant season for the Nailers, you know? Coaching change, games canceled, partially because of other teams or whatever. So you never know. You never know. And all these players are tested before they walk into the locker room, or it's done in the locker room. And we don't know if last night's game will be made up. We don't know. I know one thing, John Wayner is standing by on the on-deck circle. This ought to be a cool conversation with Mr. Wayner. We'll be right back. A variety show.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1 W251CY, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7 W249DU, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Biden spending his 100th day in office visiting Georgia today, a battleground state that helped deliver his election victory. He'll deliver a speech tonight. It follows last night's address to Congress, laying out his ambitious and expensive economic recovery plans, including a new bill to expand universal pre-K, tax credits, and a cap on child care costs for middle to lower income brackets. In her weekly news briefing, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the policies will provide a path for so many families hurting in the pandemic.
He lifted up the progress made by the rescue plan, told people what's in it so that they can be sure to avail themselves of the benefits of it and what can be done in the American Jobs Plan.
Getting the proposals passed will be an uphill battle. Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne says while President Biden talked about bipartisanship, she has yet to see any of that since he took office.
We've seen massive, trillion-dollar bills being pushed through with no Republican support and very little attempt at even on having any negotiations or reasoning with us. It's frustrating to be elected and not even have a seat at the table.
Another drop in jobless claims last week, meantime, to a new low in this pandemic. 553,000 Americans filing for first-time unemployment benefits, signaling that the pace of layoffs is dwindling a bit. The U.S. economy also surging at 6.4% annual rate in the first quarter. We're learning more about yesterday's FBI raid at the home and office of former New York City Mayor and former President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, part of an investigation into Giuliani's alleged lobbying efforts overseas. ABC's Jonathan Carl with more.
Giuliani has downplayed speculation he could be in legal jeopardy, insisting he has only been fighting the good fight. But now he finds himself investigated by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Giuliani's lawyer denied he's done anything wrong.
You're listening to ABC News.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. Don't take on the IRS alone. If you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. The experts at Optima specialize in a powerful IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
With the May 1st U.S. troop withdrawal deadline from Afghanistan pushed back to September 11th by the Biden administration, the U.S. has been keeping an eye on violence in the country. ABC News senior foreign correspondent Ian Pano. met with the Taliban commander in Kabul.
He's telling me that he thinks this is victory for the Taliban. He also warns about this May the 1st deadline. They have not accepted this extension that Joe Biden has imposed. They still say American troops should be out by May the 1st. Well, that's this coming weekend. That isn't going to happen.
The U.S. has ordered some staff at the embassy in Afghanistan to leave because of security threats. Britain's vaccination program will soon focus on booster options.
With vaccine distribution and uptake much more advanced here than most other countries, possible boosters will come under study this summer. England's Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Jonathan Van Tam.
We'll get an idea then of which give you the highest boost, which perhaps give you the broadest boost against a range of coronavirus variants.
Currently, 25% of UK adults have had both of their COVID shots. Tom Rivers, ABC News, London.
The U.S. mission in India has approved the voluntary departure of the staff's family members because of the dire COVID-19 outbreak there. The State Department also asking Americans who want to leave India to take advantage of commercial transportation. This is ABC News.
If the new Oral-B IO electric toothbrush had a theme song, this would be it. I think you're gonna wanna see this. Only IO combines Oral-B's dentist-inspired round brush head with gentle micro-vibrations for a brushing experience even dentists have hailed as literally the best brush I've ever used. Get the wow of a professional clean feel every day with the new IO from Oral-B, the #1 brand used by dentists.
You're gonna see what everybody's talking about.
Oral-B, brush like a pro.
I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
On the Ohio News Network, I'm Daniel Barnett. An attorney for the family of Micaiah Bryant, the Columbus teenager who was fatally shot by a police officer last week, is speaking out for the first time about the family's response to the 16-year-old's death. Lindsay Mills has more from affiliate station WBNS-TV in Columbus.
Michelle Martin, a local lawyer from here in Columbus, is representing the family. All here today speaking about Micaiah and how they would like her to be remembered. And Martin said that they are planning funeral services to be held on Friday, the details of which have not been shared at this time. Again, they are calling for a federal investigation, and she says they will be conducting their own independent investigation. In Columbus, Lindsay Mills.
And the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services is putting out a scam warning for anyone filing unemployment claims this week. Tracy Townsend explains.
Fake websites are being used to mirror the agency's official website to try to steal your personal information. ODJFS says to ignore all unsolicited text messages, don't click on any links in emails or texts that look strange, and log in each week to look over your personal information. ODJFS will not contact you to ask for your username or password. I'm Tracy Townsend.
For a look at state news anytime, visit ONNradio.com. I'm Daniel Barnett on the Ohio News Network.
Stand by. You're back to live and local programming in moments on the Watchdog.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Those nagging aches in your foot or ankle simply won't go away on their own. Podiatric physicians are the most qualified doctors to care for your feet based on their education, training, and experience. Your podiatrist can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, and show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. Ask if your podiatrist is a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the very best. The Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association has been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years, and we look forward to caring for Ohioans' feet for another 100 years. To find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection. Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker Darnell Foster with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Rain showers and thunderstorms likely with a daytime high near 70 degrees. Chance of those showers sneaking through the evening and the overnight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with a low of about 50 degrees. If we see those showers through the overnight, they might linger through the earlier part of your Friday. Otherwise, clouds breaking for sunshine, temperatures near 60 degrees. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, The Watchdog.
Like a fool, I went and stayed too long. I'm wondering if your love's still strong. Ooh, babe, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Then that time I went and said goodbye. Now I'm back and not ashamed to cry.
Well, looking forward to this conversation. Remember what LeBron James says, we got to have more conversations. This one ought to be pretty good. He knows his baseball, and actually I thought it would have been a good idea if John Wayner would have been the new skipper of the Pirates, but that's okay. I like Derek Shelton, and I always know that John Wayner will be in the broadcast booth doing a great job. And every time I would talk to Jim Leland when Wayner was with the Pirates, I would say, you know, who's one of your best players not named Van Slyke, Bonds, and Bonilla? Your name always came up, John. Man, Leland's a big fan of yours.
Boy, yeah, I mean, I wish I knew that when I played. I was always on pins and needles, you know, nervous. I just trying to stick around, and, you know, I just tried to do what I could, you know. I was all about trying to do the things it took to win, and unfortunately, I might not have hit enough to do those things, but I tried to make up for it with defense or base running or doing, you know, the little fundamental things, but I think he appreciated that I went about the business the right way.
If you were a hockey player, I'd say you were the grinder of the team. You know what I mean? And I put you in the Utility Hall of Fame. How's that sound?
Oh,
Utility Man Hall of Fame. How about that?
That's pretty good. Yeah, I'll take it. Any kind of Hall of Fame, I'll take it.
Well, you know, a lot of people know you as the last guy to hit a home run at Three Rivers. Did you ever get that baseball?
I did, actually. I hit it, and I didn't know where it went. And apparently, a gentleman jumped out of the stands, grabbed the ball. I think he got arrested. Threw the ball to his buddy. Yeah, threw the ball to his buddy, and they were good friends with the folks at Paparazzi's, the Southside restaurant.
Yeah,
I'm sure folks remember. But and so I met up with those guys. We had dinner. I took a bat and signed it and some other things, and we chatted, got the ball. So yeah, it's sitting on a shelf somewhere.
All right, okay, that's cool stuff. As far as the team is concerned, I just think they're fun to watch, even if they lose. You know, they're fun to watch. They're competitive. It seems like they're having fun. Derek Shelton right now is pressing the right buttons, except the buttons for Mitch Keller. I don't know what's wrong with him, but hopefully he'll get it together. I like it. I think the division is not that strong. When you look at Milwaukee with all their injuries, the Cardinals have some injuries, including Madonna, whatever his name is. Did I say Madonna? Sorry about that. Boy, that would be great, wouldn't it? Madonna behind home plate. I just think I just think they can do well, and I predict them to win 70 wins, between 66 and 70. You agree?
Yeah, it definitely could happen. It's always with any team going to come down to the pitching. I think you have to pitch well, especially from the starters. The bullpen has been great. You couldn't ask any more from the bullpen. When this team has had a lead, the bullpen has held it, and the starting pitching has been pretty good. There's been a couple clunkers in there, including last night, but that run they went on, 11 wins in 16 games, I think a lot of it had to do with pitching. Obviously, the offense was involved, and they've done the little things right, the fundamentals. They haven't hurt themselves on defense or base running. So the mental errors that we saw in the first week, it disappeared. The physical errors have been fewer. And you've had timely hitting. I think Derek Shelton has pushed the right buttons in a lot of different ways. The hit and run 2 nights ago was huge. So and there was a couple timely hits there. So, they could surprise. It's hard to predict how many wins. Obviously, it's a very, very long season, 162 games. It's encouraging to see how they've played through the first couple of dozen games. But it's going to depend on how that starting rotation holds up, and they're going to need more than the 5 that are throwing now. I mean, they're probably going to use at least 10 starting pitchers, and so that's when the depth comes in, and you got to see how well they perform. The guys that aren't here in AAA, and because these guys, it's going to be hard to get starting pitchers to throw 150 innings this year, given the shorter season last year. So you're going to need a lot of starting pitching, and you never know. You get guys that come up and they surprise and they pitch well. They can go 70 wins, maybe beyond that, if the pitching's there. Offensively, I think this team is capable of doing even better than they've done here the first month. But the pitching depth, I think every team in baseball, how they succeed, how many wins they can get is going to depend on how deep their rotations are. Because you get into July and August and September, you're going to have to see a lot of different pitchers out there. You're going to have to throw a bunch of guys out there. And we don't know who they are yet, here or anywhere else. And I think that's going to depend on how these teams do down the stretch.
I've been covering baseball, before you were born. I think from 72 was my first Red Sox game against the Tigers, and I got to see Al Kaline, which was a great thing. But I've seen a lot of strange things at Fenway, many strange things at Three Rivers, and a few strange things at PNC Park. But last night, I saw not one, but 2 strange things in baseball. The Stallings home run. I thought, was it the center fielder caught the ball? Did he have it in his glove and then it fell over the fence?
Yeah, I mean, we were joking in between innings because, Joe Block thought it was an out over on the TV side. Greg Brown thought it was an out. I thought it was an out. Everybody thought it was an out. As Michael Taylor fell to the warning track, we assumed, he was banged up and had the ball in his glove. And then he gets up, he doesn't have the ball. Even replays, it was hard to tell that the ball came out of the glove. And it's great about baseball. You see different things all the time. You see what looked like one of the best plays you'll ever see turn into a homer, and so it really wasn't. I mean, it was a heck of an effort, but the ball just didn't stick in that big floppy outfielder's mitt, fortunately for Jacob Stallings. And man, that was a heck of a comeback. After down 6-0, you get to 6-5. You have the bases loaded. You feel like you might pull this one out, and then obviously the Royals added some runs on, and we couldn't score anymore. But yeah, that's what's great about baseball. You see something crazy just about every game, something you haven't seen before.
Yeah, that was something else, but it doesn't top when the ball hit Jose Canseco in the head and went over the fence. You remember that play?
Yeah, nobody's ever going to forget that. Yeah, that's one of the best ever.
Yeah, he can do a lot. He did a lot of things in baseball. He can hit a home run 700 feet, but everybody will remember that. Another thing that happened, and I watched the replay, Anthony Rizzo, the Cubs were losing, 10-0 to Atlanta? So he's on the pitcher's mound, and he's facing Freddie Freeman. Okay, they're laughing and everything. I don't know if I'd be laughing if I was Freddie, one of the best hitters in the league. He struck out on a 61 miles an hour pitch, and they're all laughing. I think that's great for baseball.
No question about that. There are some things that go on in baseball that I have a hard time accepting. I know we got to get more entertaining. The games have gotten long. You don't see as much action in the game. There's a lot of, the three outcomes, the home run, the walk, the strikeouts. You don't see as many plays or balls in play as we once did. And, there's certain things that the hitters do after home runs with the bat flips and the skipping around the bases and everything else, which I think gets a little too much for me. But having fun at the ballpark is great. And you play 162 games, you're going to have some blowouts, and so you're going to see things like that, and that is refreshing. That does put a smile on people's faces, and you got to love the humility of a guy like Freddie Freeman, and I'm sure it was a thrill for Anthony Rizzo to take the mound, and then that matchup with two great first basemen, two all-star type players. Facing one another. I mean, I got to pitch a handful of times in the minor leagues, and I never did in the big leagues. And that's the one thing I always wanted to do. I would have played all 9 if I got to pitch an inning in the big leagues. And again, that's fun. You don't want to see it happen too often because you don't want to see blowouts like that. And especially if you're the home team and you're down 10-0, like the Atlanta was last night. But if you're still in the stands or you're watching on TV, it puts a smile on your face, and that's the great thing about baseball is it is a serious game. You do play hard, you play to win, you want to take it seriously, but there are moments like that you could certainly appreciate. That's not something you're going to see in any other sport where guys are giggling at one another after you strike them out.
And then the other sad thing, and I just watched it this morning because I heard about it, and it was, today you got video of everything. Harper took one to the face. 96.9 miles an hour? Hit him in the face, and thank goodness he's okay.
I mean, I didn't see the reports. I mean, if he doesn't have a broken jaw or a broken face or whatever, and he's not going to miss much time. That's great news because that's the scary thing about baseball. With the arms that we see nowadays, guys throwing in the upper 90s. We saw a guy for the Royals last night throwing 100 miles per hour, and you're up there, and if you have a guy that's a little bit wild, every time I see a catcher set up inside when a guy's throwing 100 miles an hour, I think of that because you just don't have a lot of reaction time, and obviously Bryce Harper kind of reacted with his hand and almost tried to knock the ball away with his hand and didn't get out of the way, and man, you get a superstar like that. You don't want to see a guy like that getting a broken face and missing significant time and drinking out of a straw and everything else like that. Unfortunately, that happens in baseball. Very fortunate that if he doesn't go on a disabled list and he's ready to come back out and play, that's incredible. But that's a scary moment. I don't care if you love Bryce Harper or hate Bryce Harper. You never want to see that.
Yeah. What would Jim Leland say if he watched and heard some of the comments from Trevor Bauer, who can be ridiculous at times, although he's a great pitcher, and Tatis Jr., if he's not throwing the bat, he's making faces and stuff. Would Leland put up with that?
I think I don't know. That's a great question. As far as Trevor Bauer is concerned, if Trevor Bauer was pitching for Jim Leland, I think Jim Leland would tolerate it because he's a great pitcher, Cy Young Award winner. As long as he's not embarrassing the team on the field and he's going about his work and he's doing his job, I think you can tolerate that. If he's on the other team and he's acting a fool on the field, Jim Leland would take exception to it. What he does off the field, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, what he says or tweets or, offends, you can't worry about it. We have freedom of speech in this country. You can say just about anything you want, as long as you're not hurting anybody. You're just offering up your opinion. And, he's a little bit outspoken with the Twitter and social media stuff, but I don't do any of that. People don't need to know all my opinions when I'm not at the ballpark. Obviously, when I'm on the air, I give my opinion, but you could tolerate, I guess, that if he's going about his business the right way and he's on your team. I'm sure guys on other teams take offense to it, and if he offends you enough, he has to put a bat in his hands. And so if he does something that's out of the norm or something that's inappropriate, then you can send a message to him when he has a bat in his hand, and people. And that's the one thing, as far as I'm concerned, in baseball. If you do something that's inappropriate, that's the one part of the game where, hey, you might think twice about being inappropriate if you catch one in the ribs.
You probably don't like the DH, right?
No, I mean, I've never been a fan of DH. It has nothing to do with that sort of thing. It has everything to do with the game of baseball and the fundamentals. And I think there's a reason why you have 26 guys now, and you have guys on the bench. I think those guys on the bench serve a role, and I think when you have a pitcher batting, your bench players can participate and can make a difference in a game by pinch hitting or on a double switch or what have you. There's a lot more strategy in the game without the DH. I understand, I guess, some of the arguments worried about pitchers getting hurt or whatever, but pitchers can get hurt fielding a ground ball as well as they can get hurt jogging the first base. And so that's been around in baseball forever. The Tatis stuff and some of these other guys and what they're doing after hitting home runs, I mean, if you don't control it, things will get out of hand. I mean, what's next? The guy's going to start doing cartwheels down first base? I mean, to me, I still think you got to respect your opponent, and I don't think there's anything wrong with admiring a home run or doing anything else like that. But I think some of the celebrations after you hit a home run are getting a little bit exaggerated. Like I said, you got to draw a line somewhere because it'll turn into a circus, I think, if you don't.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, and I think you'll agree with me and Jim Leland after he hears this story. I'm sure you know about it. The Pioneer League, which is like an independent baseball league, and the Major League Baseball is watching because the Pioneer League teams will participate in a home run derby to settle games tied after 9 innings. Are you kidding me? So whoever hits the most home runs will win this game. It's a 5-pitch thing for the batters. You don't like this idea, do you?
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's not baseball. It really isn't. It's so you might as well go ahead and go to your local beer softball leagues and to find players if that's what you're going to do. Yeah, go get a big, strong guy and give him aluminum bats and give him super balls to hit. And I mean, if that's what I have a hard time believing fans want to see that. I think there's entertainment value, like with the home run derby, the All-Star game. I mean, there's some entertainment value there, but to decide a game or decide, an outcome or a division or a playoff spot, to me, that's some of the things that they're implementing. I find interesting, and I understand that you want to find some entertainment in the game because the game is slowed down so much in terms of action and balls put in play. But that's gone too far.
Yeah. Well, it could affect the batter swing. What was it, Cecil Fielder? After he won the home run derby a few years ago, his swing was like all screwed up for a couple weeks.
You could say that with a lot of guys. We've seen it over and over again over the years to where guys go in that home run derby, they come back after the All-Star break and they're in a slump for weeks, if not months. And, it could be an excuse. It could be real. I don't know. I just know that there's a lot of effort out there in swinging from your heels, and you will make changes to your swing in terms of trying to hit a ball 500 feet. There's other guys that have gone through home run derbies and they've been fine afterwards, but there's been many cases where guys have really struggled after a home run derby, but I still think that's a pretty neat competition. I think the fans like it, and I would keep that. But I certainly wouldn't use a home run derby to make it, to decide a game in a regular season or otherwise.
I don't like the idea because I saw it last year with the Wild Things, or 2 years ago. After a tie, you have somebody at second base with no outs. I don't like that either. Just play the game, even if it's 17 innings, 18 innings. I just don't like that. How about you?
Me neither. You could sit there and again, I'm sitting there trying to think of an alternative to decide a game. The runner on second base, actually, I hated it at first, but I've grown to appreciate that. Given this day and age, you don't want to burn your pitching staff, and with pitchers only going 5 innings and relievers many times not wanting to pitch in back-to-back days, you do got to be careful as far as how much you use your pitching. And so the guy on second, I think, is useful because I've been a part of many 18-inning games or 19-inning games, and it can deplete your staff, and you end up losing a big league player because normally when you have an 18-inning game, you're going to go down to the minor leagues and get more pitching. So some guy that's been up in the big leagues doing a pretty good job gets sent down because, we need more pitching. And so somebody ends up losing a job because you got to replace him because he threw 5 innings in an extra inning game. And I don't think that somebody could throw 5 innings, a perfect ball in extra innings, and they send them down the next day because, we need pitching help. What if we go in the extra innings today? So putting that runner on second will shorten the games. You won't probably see an 18-inning game anytime soon. So that does, that does make sense to me now that I've seen it last year. It's some of the rules, that they're talking about. I'd have to see it to really understand it and get a good opinion of what they're going to do, because there's so many things going on, I guess, at different levels of minor league with pickoff throws and guys having to step off, and you're only allowed 2 pickoff after that. I mean, pitch clocks, et cetera, and so forth. I mean, there's a lot of things there that I think I'd have to see and experience before I can put an opinion on it. But so far, like the 7-inning doubleheader and the runner at second in the extra innings, I've accepted that.
Okay, all right. Next to last question. Leland, Hall of Famer?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's not even close.
I know. I try and tell people like my friends in Boston and New York. You look at his record. He's done a tremendous job, especially when he took over a bad team way back in the 80s. My guest next week, special guest, took a while to get a hold of him. Dave Parker, Hall of Famer?
Absolutely. That one really bugs me. He did it for a very long time, and I just look at RBIs. Maybe he wasn't a 500 home run guy, but he was 1,600 RBIs or something like that. Yeah. I mean, that's 16 seasons of 100 RBIs. Yeah. I mean, that is ridiculous. And Al Oliver's another one. Yeah. That should be in there, former Pirate. And so, certain things. That whole Hall of Fame thing drives me nuts. I guess it's maybe another topic, but I guess I'll offer my opinion on this now because I'm thinking about it, and you brought up Hall of Fame. The steroid thing, the way they're voting or not voting for players, they've already put at least a dozen guys in the Hall of Fame that use steroids. I'm convinced of that. There's probably more. And so if you're going to sit there and turn a blind eye to some that have used steroids, you got to let all the guys with steroids that were on steroids in. Whether you have evidence or not. I mean, I guess that would be the one thing is, are you 100% sure that player A, B, and C was on steroids? Maybe you don't have proof, or maybe you don't have evidence, but pretty good idea that they did. And so that's my that's my thing as far as the Hall of Fame is concerned. That there's some great players that deserve to be in. A great manager in Jim Leland deserves to be in. There's the Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens were the 2 of the best players of an entire generation. Of course, media didn't like Barry. I don't know what the media felt about Roger Clemens, but they're kind of sitting there on the outside looking in, and they know that there are dozens, if not dozens, of guys in there that have used steroids. Their teammates, in fact. So, that to me is something that the writers have to decide. They should have decided by now. You're going to let them all in, or none of them.
Yeah. Well, the one thing with Parker, and I know this for a fact, he upset. I can't use the word I want to. He upset a few national writers. He wasn't that media friendly all the time, so I think maybe that hurts. Hey, last question. You got the vote. It's your vote. Pete Rose, in or out of Cooperstown?
If they have evidence that he gambled on the game, he's got to be out. I mean, that's for me, as a player, no question. Now, here's the other thing. Okay, I'll say this. If there wasn't a 5-year waiting period and he doesn't manage until his 6th year, he's in the Hall of Fame. Okay, so now he's managing, he's betting on baseball. Are you allowed to take him out of the Hall of Fame? I was wondering about that. I don't know if you're allowed to be expelled from the Hall of Fame, but if he waited a couple more years before he went into the dugout as a manager, he'd be in the Hall of Fame, no question, as a player.
You're right.
So I don't know how that works, but I just know. There is certain things. I actually did a seminar today. I had to go through a seminar about betting on baseball. I had to read this. I watched this video online, and I get it. I mean, I can gather inside information and profit from it in some way, shape, or form. And that part of the game, the integrity of the game, is certainly that you want to stand behind, and you don't want to mess around with that sort of thing, and especially now where you can bet on baseball legally. So
Okay. Hey, John, always a pleasure. This is what I'm going to offer you. You ready?
Yes, sir.
You wanted to be on the pitcher's mound in the major leagues, right?
I'm
going to invite you to a Wild Things game. You can bring the family. Everything will be on us. We're great hosts. We throw out the red carpet. Just ask Sean Casey, Pete Rose. They threw out the first pitch. You can be on the mound throwing a first pitch in a professional baseball game. How's that?
Well, so that's a different kind of pressure, because now I don't even know. I haven't thrown a baseball in years. I don't even know if I can get it to the plate. That's something. But yeah, if schedule allows me to, absolutely. Like I said, that's great stuff. I think the entertainment value down there in Washington, or any minor league ballpark, whether it be in Morgantown or Altoona or elsewhere, I think baseball is a great game. Any way to get more folks out, more fans out to see this great game of baseball, I'm all for it.
All right, John. Looking forward to you working in the booth, and maybe we'll do this again. I'd like to give Greg Brown a break. Okay?
Yeah, I know. Anytime, Bill. Give me a call, and just set it up, and I'm here for you.
All right. Thank you for your time and effort and your insight.
Great. All right. Thanks a lot, Bill. Talk to you later.
Okay. One of the good guys way back when. All right. We're going to take a break and come right back on The Variety Show.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Chris Lawrence. Governor Jim Justice signing legislation impacting transgender West Virginians.
House Bill 3293 states transgender students cannot play on female sports teams at the middle school, high school, or collegiate level. The measure, one of multiple bills introduced in state legislative bodies across the country this year affecting transgender athletes. Justice said Monday he would sign the bill, arguing it protects female sports. The ACLU announcing after Justice's signature it plans to sue the state. Fairness West Virginia arguing the legislation cannot be enforced due to federal discrimination laws. I'm Alex Thomas, WVMetroNews.com.
President Biden speaking to a joint session of Congress and laying out his plan for a $2.3 trillion infrastructure package. He acknowledged the other side has their own plan, and he wants to talk about it.
I applaud a group of Republican senators who just put forward their own proposal. So let's get to work. I wanted to lay out before the Congress my plan before we got into the deep discussions. I'd like to meet with those who have ideas that are different.
U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito has been heading up that Republican alternative plan and says she hopes that the president is serious about getting together and finding compromise. The DHHR today reporting 432 new cases of COVID-19 in the state. Active cases are up to 7,153, and the day's positivity rate 4.43%. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. At the Girls State High School basketball tournament in Charleston, Game 1 of the Quad A tournament in the books today. George Washington eliminated Woodrow Wilson this morning. Final score 67-49. The Patriots win it. Follow scores and action throughout the tournament at WVMetroNews.com. West Virginia weather for today. Expect more thunderstorm activity this afternoon along a cold front that's moving through the state. Some of those storms could include winds and heavy downpours. Drier and cooler air floods in tomorrow and Saturday. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
Hello, I'm Chuck Reddick, Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service. We're working hard to get ready for tax filing season. You know who else is working hard? Identity thieves. Keep your computers and your mobile phones secure. Use antivirus software and strong passwords. Look out for email scams. Secure your home Wi-Fi with a password. Stay safe when you shop online. Look for HTTPS in the web address. See irs.gov for details.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Those nagging aches in your foot or ankle simply won't go away on their own. Podiatric physicians are the most qualified doctors to care for your feet based on their education, training, and experience. Your podiatrist can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, and show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. Ask if your podiatrist is a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the very best. The Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association has been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years, and we look forward to caring for Ohioans' feet for another 100 years. To find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog. I'm John Thayer. The NFL Draft is set to get underway tonight in Cleveland, Ohio. Round 1 is this evening, while rounds 2 and 3 will be tomorrow night, and the remaining rounds 4 through 7 are set for Saturday afternoon. The Jacksonville Jaguars have the number 1 overall pick. The Jets will pick second, followed by the 49ers, the Falcons, and the Bengals in the top 5 of this year's draft. PGA Tour back in action today. They are at the Valspar Championship. That's being played in Palm Harbor, Florida. The defending champion is Paul Casey. The NASCAR Cup Series is in Kansas this weekend at Kansas Speedway. Sunday afternoon's race is on FS1. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog.
With Mother's Day around the corner, now's the time to visit JCPenney's Friends and Family Sale. Get up to 50% off amazing brands she'll love, like Liz Claiborne and Exertion Activewear. Shop gifts from apparel and swimwear to ultra-comfy robes. Plus, save even more with an extra 30% off coupon. Celebrate the woman who does it all. JCPenney. Offers and coupons valid through 5/2. Some exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
What's in store for your business this week at Staples?
Printing you new signs for the times.
Get back to business with custom printed signs and sales materials. Staples has hundreds of designs to choose from, or just upload your own.
And now at Staples, get 15% off signs, posters, or decals when you spend $75 or more.
Some items printed same day when ordered before 2 p.m.
Save big on custom printing at Staples.
Ends 5/29/21. Exclusions apply. Limit 1 offer per customer. See store associate or visit staples.com/signage for details.
What is Real Big Talk? Well, it's an honest conversation that you can be a part of no matter which way you lean. I'm Big Rick, your host of Real Big Talk, and I invite you to join me, Lola, and the rest of this community to discuss our world and the events that unfold daily. Be a part of the conversation at 304-214-1600. Real Big Talk, weekdays 2 to 5 on the Watchdog.
And we're back. We've gone from baseball to hockey to football. Now we're going to go down the street to River City. Right now, River City has some interesting people there, including Sharon from the American Red Cross. She's there. She's and her people trying to close the gap on sickle cell. Hey, thank you for holding, Sharon. I didn't think I was going to keep you on that long. My apologies.
No worries, no worries.
How's everything going?
I'm just thrilled to be able to be with you. Things are going well. We could be a bit busier. We've had a few people that, my guess is, because it's raining and it's a little busy downtown and they may have had trouble finding a parking space, just didn't make it in for their appointments. And the sad part about it is that once we fill a schedule, it no longer becomes available to people to make an appointment to get blood. So today, we normally can't say that we're going to accept walk-ins, but we've had one so far, and there was no problem getting them in because of those that had not made their appointment. had kept their appointment. But this afternoon, you know, if you think you want to walk in and get blood, we're here at Rip City till 5 o'clock. And all you have to do is come on in, walk through the bar area, get to the elevator, bring the elevator up to 3rd floor, and then turn right when you get off the elevator, and the blood drive's right there. Wow. So we're going to be here till about 5 o'clock. That doesn't mean that if you walk in without an appointment that we'll absolutely be able to take you, but the way it looks right now, we're doing a good job of being able to take you, okay? We've had 17 units collected, and we're still looking for several more, and so we definitely need to hope that people this afternoon that did make their appointments, please, if you're on that list, please keep your appointment today.
Okay, and she will be there till 5 o'clock, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And this is a special blood drive because we're trying to close the gap of sickle cell. And, you know, starting with the very basics, every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs a blood transfusion. You know, it could be somebody with complicated childbirth or fighting cancer, an accident victim, all sorts of people. You know, maybe somebody in surgery. All sorts of people need blood. Every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs a blood transfusion.
I never knew.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Every 2 seconds? Every 2 seconds.
Every 2
1, 2, somebody needs a transplant. I mean, a transfusion.
Transfusion,
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I get sick and tired of watching 15,000 commercials from the drug companies about my problem with my heart, the diabetes. I see a lot of commercials with this drug to, I don't know if it's to comfort or keep it steady or whatever on sickle cell. Are most of those drugs good or whatever? Because, you know, I read the fine print. Could affect your kidneys, could affect your liver, whatever.
So I can't speak directly to any medication, but I can tell you that about 100,000 people in the U.S. have sickle cell disease, and that they require regular blood transfusions to help manage their disease, sometimes monthly transfusions. And that's because, if you think about it, a regular red cell, which is what carries the oxygen all through your body, keeps all your vital organs very healthy, that is a kind of a round type of looking cell, and it just flows very freely through your system as long as your veins are good and healthy. Well, if you have sickle cell, those aren't round. They're crescent shaped, and they become hard. They're not soft and mushy like usual. And so, as a result, they can sometimes get stuck in your veins and not allow proper blood flow. And that's what helps get oxygen to all your vital organs, helps get oxygen to your brain, you know, really helps you stay good and healthy. And so, it's important then that we have good blood flow in those with sickle cell, and the only way to make that happen is by regular blood transfusions. Wow. So today's drive is going a long way to helping get the awareness raised in this community to make sure that we have plenty of folks that may potentially have the sickle cell trait. Just because you have the trait doesn't mean you have the disease, but if you have the trait, then especially that blood will be very good as far as transfusion goes, okay? So we can actually then test every donor. We began April 1st testing every donor to see if it included the sickle cell trait, which is a test just like we've been testing for COVID-19 antibodies for several months now. And it isn't a diagnostic test. It doesn't tell you that you have something, but it does tell you whether or not you have that trait, okay? And so it's just essential that we have the right type of blood for those that are suffering with this really painful disease. And that way they have the right type of blood that they need in order to feel much better and much healthier.
Well, you know, I asked you when I had you here on the show earlier this week if I can donate it, and I donate blood, and of course I can't. So, you know, this thing is, I can give you airtime so you can promote this very special thing that you're doing. And I thank you, and I thank the people that have come down. But you told me something while you were on hold during a news break. I want to share it with the people. I was never a Lakers fan because I'm a Celtics guy. But when Magic Johnson had the press conference to tell the world that he has sickle cell, I started to cry, and here he's still living. What was his secret to still living a normal life?
So I'm going to guess, without knowing the facts, that he has, if he has been diagnosed with sickle cell disease, then he has regular blood transfusions.
Wow.
And that is what helps his pain levels and also helps his body stay healthier than it would if he didn't have those blood transfusions.
Okay, well, blood's needed, so if you're listening and you're in a neighborhood, go down to River City. If you have a problem, ask for Sharon. They even named a city after her in Pennsylvania. Just kidding, Sharon. I had a radio station in Sharon, and I used to visit them once a year. There's a great hot dog joint there, but it was Sharon, PA, and now it's a pleasure to work with you, Sharon. And let's do this again. If you need some information to put out there to the public, please let me know, and let me know how I can work with you with the Red Cross, okay?
I so appreciate it, Bill. Thanks so very much.
All right, talk to us soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's take a break, and we're going to go back to football and get the prediction from one of the many insiders that I abuse, Ray Fittipaldo. That will end the show, and don't forget, after the news break at the top of the hour, Real Big Talk with Big Rick and Lola Miller, okay?
Let your voice be heard. This is Big Rick, your host of Real Big Talk, weekdays from 2 to 5 on the Watchdog. Just because my name is on the show, that doesn't mean that this show doesn't belong to you too. Lola and I can drive the bus, but you can jump on and join in. Breaking stories, local, statewide, national, and around the world discussed right here on the Watchdog. 304-214-1600. Real Big Talk with me, Big Rick. Weekdays from 2 to 5 on the Watchdog.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Wheeling Coin and Hobby on 10th Street in Wheeling, next to the Bridge Tavern in downtown Wheeling, wants to buy any and all unwanted gold and silver jewelry. They are paying top dollar for 10, 14, 18, and 22 karat gold plus 925 sterling silver. They also want to buy collectible coins and paper money from before 1933. Wheeling Coin and Hobby is open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Coin and Hobby, 304-232-8430, and add them on Facebook.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there is one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. Being in business for over 50 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at doanford.com.
I'm not buying till I check Doan Ford.
Babies come with lots of decisions.
Cloth or disposable? Crib or bassinet?
So when it comes to protection, go with the safest, most effective choice, vaccination. Get all the recommended vaccines for your baby by age 2 to protect your child against 14 serious childhood diseases. For more reasons to vaccinate, talk to your child's doctor. Go to cdc.gov/vaccines or call 800-CDC-INFO. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Cameron, the watchdog is protecting your yard. Join Howard Monroe, Hoppy Kercheval, Bill DeFabio, and Big Rick for the best live and local talk in the Upper Ohio Valley and beyond. Cameron trusts the watchdog.
Before we get to our next guest, it's the Whoops Award. I almost got hit in the head by the stapler that Lola threw at me. I'm glad she corrected me. We did find out about sickle cell and, what drugs and all that. Magic Johnson I hope you're not listening, doesn't have sickle cell. He had AIDS, so I apologize for that. But I did learn about, if somebody that has sickle cell, what's available, and I guess blood transfusions help, and maybe a steady diet, as long as it keeps you healthy, fine. And I'm going to go down and visit Sharon and see what I can do, get in some trouble or whatever. But 17 people have come in already. That's 17 they didn't have yesterday. So if you want to give blood, you can still walk in. You have till 5 o'clock. All right. I don't think I'll make a mistake with this guy. All right? Ray Fittipaldo, we only have a few minutes. You ready?
Ready, Bill.
Okay. Who are the Steelers going to pick number 1 tonight?
Bill, if Najee Harris, the running back from Alabama, is still there at number 24, they are going to go with him. If he's not there, it's going to provide some intrigue. They could go a number of different directions, but I think if Harris is there, that's their pick.
Well, you study this 24/7. That's why I like to depend on you and use you. Are there other teams interested in him? I mean, if he's that good, he might go early.
Well, sure. Miami and the New York Jets both have 2 first-round picks, and they're both before the Steelers at number 24. There is a chance that the Dolphins at number 18 or the Jets at number 23, could make that move first. So, that's definitely a possibility. Running backs usually don't go too early. It's really a unique thing when they go in the top 10 or even the top 15. So the Steelers are going to have to hold their breath, I think, between like 16 and 24, and I hope he's still there.
Well, let's play the what-if game. Like, what if I win the Powerball? You won't see or hear from me again. But what if the Steelers, they want him, but he won't be available? Who are they going to take?
Well, Clemson running back Travis Etienne is another running back that they like. So if he is there, he could be their selection. There's a number of different scenarios, though. There's a linebacker from Tulsa by the name of Zaven Collins,
he's
sort of a wild card. He can play inside. He can also play on the edge. That would be a little bit intriguing for that defensive staff. The thing that I don't think a lot of people are talking about is if Harris is gone, and let's say Etienne is gone, maybe you trade down, accumulate some more picks, and then you have more picks to address the many holes on your roster.
You know there's going to be a lot of surprises in that first round, You just never know. That's why it's interesting.
Always. I mean, there's a wild card pick every year, and sometimes that one pick just sort of throws off the entire order because, one team will have, this guy's available, now we got to take him, and, just kind of screws up, what everyone else is going to do there. So, Steelers are picking at 24. Listen, they've had some really good picks late in the first round lately, Bill.
Yes.
Cam Hayward back in 2011, he was number 31 overall. Santonio Holmes back in 2006, he was number 25 overall. Heath Miller in 2005, number 30 overall. Steelers are pretty good at drafting near the end of the first round, so I think they feel like they can get a good player at number 24.
I hear so many good things, like he's the greatest since maybe Ozzie Newsome. Is this tight end Pitts the real deal?
He's a really good player, and don't think about him being there for the Steelers. He's perhaps the most talented player in this draft.
Wow.
He's a tight end that can run like a receiver. Just provides so many different options for offensive coordinators. So there's talk that he can go in the top 5, but if not the top 5, I think he's going to go in the top 10 definitely.
Well, the thing with Harris, back to Harris again, he seems to be the top subject for Steeler Nation. His ability is pretty good as a receiver, right? Coming out of the backfield. And pass protection.
Absolutely. He draws a lot of comparisons to one Le'Veon Bell, who was really, really good for 5 years for the Steelers. People, I think people now sit back and think about, it didn't end well with the Steelers and Bell, and it didn't. There's no denying that, but he was a very productive player when he was healthy for 5 years, and he helped the Steelers win a lot of football games. So if they're getting anything close to Le'Veon Bell there, in terms of his running ability, his ability to help in the passing game, I think that's why a lot of people, associated with the Steelers excited about that, the possibility of that happening later on tonight.
Are you glad that the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette didn't send your butt to Cleveland to cover everything?
Well, especially today, it's overcast, it's rainy here.
Yeah.
I know it's rainy in Cleveland too. So yeah, that saved me a little bit. I will be like every other Steelers fan, Bill. I'll be watching on TV, and then after the pick is made, I'll hop on some Zoom calls and we'll write some stuff about the new guy tonight.
Okay, I'm going to abuse you for a few minutes tomorrow, okay, and Monday. So.
Okay.
You're the man. Okay.
All right, Bill. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Take care, man. And thank you for all your time and effort you put into the draft. I know you worked this 24/7. But tell Jerry Dulac I disagree with him on the worst pick ever. He had what, Troy Edwards?
I think that's what he did, yes.
Yeah, Buddy Daw was there. I understand that. The Steelers back then, well, they just screwed everything up. They could have had Dick Butkus. They could have had Paul Warfield. But you know who I remember as a kid? I was like 12 years old. I think it was 61 or 62. The Steelers got this guy from Bob Ferguson from Ohio State. He wasn't around for a cup of coffee at training camp. All right, take care, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy the draft.
All right, Bill. I'll see you.
All right, I enjoyed the last couple of hours, and thanks to everyone that, contributed, all right? The Real Big Talk with Big Rick, Lola Miller, next. Just keep it on AM 1600, The Watchdog. We're always there for you.